The next thing I would say about being a good host is who are you asking those questions for? I mean, your job is to ask questions, but many times as a host, you might already know the answer. The answer to that question is you're asking those questions for your audience at home. They want to be engaged with what you're doing. So think of the questions that you're asking. Don't ask lame questions like, so what's your favorite color, all right? No one really cares about stuff like that. They might be a whole lot more interested to say, what's it like to be the quarterback of the football team? Or tell me about your most interesting vacation and what made it so interesting. Those types of answers are probably going to keep your audience's interested a little bit more than your favorite color. So think of your audience as you're asking those questions, all right? Which leads me to the next question of how do you come up with a good question, all right? And this is really challenging for a lot of people. Let me say one way not to do it, and it's this way. So the host is like, so do you like pizza? Yes. Do you like sausage pizza? Yes. Do you like deep dish pizza? Yes. Do you like pepperoni pizza? No. Do you like Rosati's pizza? No. Do you like Giordano's pizza? Yes. All right. My point is this at all interesting? All right. It's really boring. All right. Mostly because my questions are lame. Maybe the topic isn't very exciting. But more importantly, as the person answering the questions, what am I always saying? Yes or no? Yes or no? Now my question is, who's doing all the work here? Is it the guest? Or is it the host? And if the host is asking yes or no questions, they're putting a lot more burden on themselves. So if you are scared of being the host because you're not sure what to say, let me start off by this way. To ask a good question, ask a good open-ended question. For example, so tell me, do you like pizza? And if so, maybe the most unusual pizza you had. Now what you're doing is you're getting the guest to respond and be like, oh, well, yeah, actually I do love pizza. And let me tell you the most unusual pizza I ever had. I was in Hawaii once and I had pizza with octopus meat on it. All right? Now, is that a whole lot more interesting than yes or no? Yes. And it leads me to my next thing that I would say if you want to be a good host is you got to listen to the answers. Some hosts, when they ask a question, as soon as they ask the question, so tell me, do you have a big family? And then they're like, what's the next question I need to come up with? And they panic and they're not even listening to the answer. And the answer might be, yeah, my brother was a serial killer. He killed my dog. He killed my sister. I know this is kind of morbid, but, I don't really have a good family life. And because I'm not listening as a host and I'm panicking about the next question, I might follow all that up with, so have you been to Great America lately? All right. And so the best way to be a host is ask that open-ended question that gets the people to be talking, and then most importantly, listen to the answer. If you listen to the answer, they're going to give you the next question. Let's go back to my pizza example. When the person responded about their favorite kind of pizza and the most unusual pizza they have, what were some things I could say off of that answer? When were you in Hawaii? How did the pizza taste? Who were you in Hawaii with? How long ago was that? Do you go on a lot of vacations? The guest, by just answering that open-ended question, is naturally giving the next topic of things that you could ask about. But you need to be patient and listen to that answer, and they're going to give you that next question. All right. Now, some people are like, I don't think I can do this, Mr. Meister. I'd be a whole lot more comfortable going in with my list of questions that I want to ask the host, and I'll just do that. And again, to that I say, if you go in with a list, it is going to be the most unnatural kind of conversation. Oprah doesn't have a list. Ellen doesn't have a list. Jimmy Fallon doesn't have a list. They sit and they listen and they see what unfolds. And you need to do the same as well. For some of you, this won't be hard. For others, you got to relax and let it happen. You're like, no, I can't do it. Let me ask you this. When you go out to lunch, I assume all of you had lunch yesterday or today or tomorrow, you're going to be eating with some friends. Do you show up to that lunch table with 6 or 8 other people with a list of questions that you want to ask everyone sitting at the table? Of course not. You sit down, you take a bite of your sandwich, you ask, so how was your class? Second hour, and you see what they say. And then from there, the conversation unravels. Being a host and being a guest is nothing more than that. Just let the conversation unravel.